The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Okay, welcome back to the Scoreboard Addicts podcast. It's me, Nick, and I'm with TJ as always. And here we are on a beautiful Thursday evening. Our New York Rangers are on the TV. We got drinks in hand. Cheers, Governor.
Cheers, brother.
Very busy week. Lots to discuss. Let's not hold it up. And we're gone. So, first things first. All right. Big week internationally this week. Japan beats the United States of America. And I in the World Baseball Classic, and I cannot say that I'm remotely happy about it, but Japan beat the United States. But, hey, listen, the United States in that final game, those players were getting ready to play Major League Baseball. And you could tell because nobody was trying to get a single.
Yeah.
Nobody was trying to get a single. They're all trying to hit a home run every at bat. They were literally trying to go. And the killer for me was... And this is just how crazy fans have gotten to this point about this analytics nonsense, which does not work. I don't care what anybody says. It does not work. As far as analytics are concerned, I was talking about how, hey, listen, the guys that for the U.S. that went out there, you know, it's a big clap for them. Clap it up for them. Absolutely. They went out there and even Tim Anderson, who I'm not very fond of, everybody represented our country well. Everybody in the whole classic for every country did a very good job representing their country. I know some Cubans might be mad about one of their players defecting after they lost to the U.S. on Monday, but you know,
dude,
I mean,
you can't sit here and suckle at the tea to greatness and not want to stay.
You know, it just you don't. I don't know what's going on in his life. I don't know what he's got going on in Cuba. I don't know what it's like in Cuba. I can only know what we've heard. It doesn't sound great.
Dude, communism and rogue military regime essentially is never a good thing. I remember before they put the embargo back on, and for a little bit under Obama into Trump's administration, they were allowing travel, at least by cruise, very easily. You can go to Cuba and check out Cuba as a tourist. My buddy went, and I told him, of course, I was like, yo, you got to bring me back like boxes of cigars, my man. I was like, I'm putting it on you. I literally gave him like $400 cash, and I was like, just buy whatever this buys. The one cigar I told him I wanted was, I was like, dude, if you can get it for me, I want a Cohiba Bahique. I was like, however many you can get your hands on. I was like, because here they're about $100 a cigar if you can get them essentially through Europe. You'd essentially have to mail order it from Europe, who doesn't have an embargo with Cuba, and get them here. He went there, found 5 Cohiba Bahiques in a store. The guy came out with white gloves on, handed one to him. My buddy said, how many do you have? The guy said 5. He said, all right, I'll take all 5. And the guy said, well, that's $30 American, sir. And he said, that's fine. And the guy like kind of freaked out. And I was like, yeah, dude, like $30 over there is a lot American. And we looked it up. The average household for the month with both, you know, wife and husband working makes $30 a month USD. That's why that guy was freaking out, because I just bought 5 months worth of his household income of cigars in one shot, and essentially what here would have been illegally ordering them through Europe, 1.5 cigars. So shout out to my boy for hooking it up in Cuba.
Yeah. But so everybody in the World Baseball Classic represented their country very well. Let's clap it up for everybody that went out there.
Going out there and putting the intensity they did, because I mean, especially through the finals, that was sick, bro. That like
semis on, like actually the quarters on, the friggin' pool play, I would have watched all those games except for the fact that the U.S. was playing in Arizona and the game started 10 o'clock at night.
Right.
And I'm like, I just don't. I go to sleep at 10:30, so I'm going to watch an inning of play, maybe 2 innings of play,
Right.
And because I stay up till 11 and and that's it. Like, even if they had the pitch clock, it's still not a game. Like, what's the point of watching if you're just going to watch? A lot of these games, nothing happened till the 7th inning, and then you were like, "Oh shit, they tied it up in the 7th. Holy cow!" If you would have went to sleep in the 7th inning in a lot of these games, you'd have been shocked at who won.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I will say this: I was actually very surprised at, I would say, the impact that this year's World Baseball Classic had, because I don't remember it being as much last time around on social media, but this time around, dude, every time I pulled open TikTok, it was World Baseball Classic, like little videos and spoofs on what was going on. Every time I opened up Twitter, every time I opened up Facebook, it was all World Baseball Classic.
Well, to be fair, that's because your phone is listening to you, and we've been talking about it a little bit.
Again, and obviously we look up a lot of sports-based stuff, but I also look up a lot of bourbon and gun-based shit. And for the last 2 weeks, I've been seeing nothing but World Baseball Classic, and the guns and the bourbon have been falling by the wayside. So I'm trying to catch up right now.
Yeah,
I have a clock in my back pocket.
Japan wins. One thing I did see, and the analytics nerds got on my nerves about, was I came out and I commended all the people that played. And there are going to be people that are like, "Oh, this guy wasn't good enough." Blah 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 blah. Hey, listen, he went. And there were guys that were better than him that didn't go. Shame on them. Anybody that went, you put your career on the line for your country to represent. You know what? God bless. I wish you nothing but the best. And I hope you have a great season, regardless of what team you play for moving forward. I don't like Tim Anderson, but I hope he has an outstanding season this year because he deserves it, because he put on the stars and stripes for his country. He went out there and represented well. And what I really loved was the last game, they're playing the national anthem, and every single guy's quiet as a mouse, hat over his heart. And you go down that line, and there's white guys, and there's brown guys, and there's yellow guys, and there's black guys, and they're all on the same team. And that's fucking America. That's fucking America. You know, I loved it. Nolan Arenado is Cuban and Puerto Rican. Tim Anderson was on the team. Kyle Higashioka was on the team. You know, obviously we have a plethora. You know, Mookie Betts was on the team. We had a very good representation. Nestor Cortez was going to be on the team. However, he pulled something in his leg prior to the start of the. He actually just got his first start Saturday for the Yankees. So, you know, a lot of love and adoration for those guys. Shame on the guys that were what we considered to be better and decided not to show up because it wasn't important to them to represent their country, especially the older guys that are already on their second and third contract. It's like, you're not losing any money.
I was going to make that point. I was going to make that point because, you know what? I can understand if this is a career-making year for you and an injury is going to screw you for life. Like, I mean, your career, your finances, your livelihood. But that was not the case for most of the guys that did not want to go.
The Verlanders and Schertzers of the world, the Coles of the world, they already made their money.
Could be bothered.
Congratulations to Japan. Congratulations to Shohei Ohtani, World Series Baseball Classic MVP. We got what we wanted in the end. We got Trout versus Ohtani, and that was wild to see. It sucks that Trout couldn't capitalize on the situation. What really bothered me was I said that Aaron Judge starts over Schwarber, and somebody goes, Schwarber was killing it. Schwarber was the only person on that team that started that was batting less than 300. Yeah. Oh, but he had 4 home runs and 4 RBIs and 4 runs scored. That's great. We needed a single with a runner on second with fucking man on first and second.
Yep.
We needed a single. And he couldn't do it. He popped up to the second baseman swinging 3-0 because some analytics nerd was like, you can hit a home run right there and you're up there. We needed a fucking single. The guy on, I believe Mookie Betts was on second base. He scores on a single. That's what we needed. But we don't get that because analytics say that a home run is better than everything. And it is. It's true. But sometimes you just need a single.
And what's the one thing that the Yankees do, regardless of who it is? What do the Yankees do to Shohei Ohtani? Fucking own him.
Yeah. MLB season starts next week. That's exciting. I always like opening day. I always feel like that scene in 61 where Roger Maris jumps up and Bob Server's like, easy, Rob. What do you want to break your leg? And he looks at Bob and he's like, oh, come on, Bob. It's opening day. Like, that's how I feel every year.
Yeah, you know what? Opening day gets me a little excited. It's obviously we just had the first day of spring passes by what, 2 days? You get the smell in the air. No, the Cracker Jacks, the peanuts, and somebody overcharging for a beer. No, it's nice, dude. It is nice, but I don't know. As excited as I get for opening day, I feel like the first 2 months of the season are just like I don't matter that much to me. Like if I watch a game, I do. If I don't, I don't.
It's because players aren't ready to play at the beginning of the season, which is bizarre to me because they work out all off season. It's bizarre. Like, so you're waiting for the first month of the season. You're pretty much just sitting there waiting who's going to get injured. And the games at the beginning of the season are kind of intermittent because they're expecting a lot of rain. So like one thing I hate, which makes sense. I understand they're doing it for rain. Opening day, you're pumped. Baseball, let's go. The next day, you're like, let's watch some more baseball. Sorry, there's no game today. What?
That's always a little ridiculous.
It drives me crazy. It drives me up the wall. It really does. But opening day is next week, and then Garrett Cole scheduled to set it off for the Yankees to start off the season. And today, Rhys Hoskins tore his ACL in a non-contact injury. Let's be honest, most injuries in baseball are non-contact. If you make a contact injury in baseball, it means somebody hit you on a base or you got hit by a baseball. Those are the only two real contact injuries you're going to get in baseball. Some sort of collision with another player by accident, because there are no collisions on purpose, or you got hit by a baseball. So most of the time, you're going to get a non-contact injury playing baseball. And Rhys Hoskins, thank God he didn't play in the World Baseball Classic. He could have got hurt.
Ridiculous, dude.
No, all seriousness though, like I'm very sad to hear that Rhys Hoskins is a great baseball player. It's very sad to hear that he got injured. Today, Forbes dropped the top or what the prices for each franchise, most valuable franchises for Major League Baseball. And surprise, surprise, the Yankees are atop the list at $7.1 billion.
And I think, what is it? They're ahead of the Dodgers by at least $3 billion.
That is roughly correct. Yeah, the Dodgers are number 2 at $4.8 billion. Yeah. The Red Sox are number 3 at 4.5. The Cubs 4 at 4.1, and the San Francisco Giants 3.7. Now, these teams have something very in common. They're all old franchises, and old franchises tend to be more valuable than newer franchise. And on top of that, if you're in a major city, that also tends to play a major role as well. Chicago, Boston, New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco are major cities. I don't anticipate the Kansas City Royals somehow overtaking any of those teams, or the Oakland Athletics for that matter. So
I quite enjoyed the segment of teams that lost the most money as far as profit goes. So it was quite enjoyable to read.
Top 5 losses. The Mets, $138.5 million. That's what they lost this year. The Padres lost $55.2 million. The White Sox lost $53.4 million. The Blue Jays, which I'm surprised about, lost $33.7 million. And the Twins, I'm not surprised about, lost $30.3 million.
I'm surprised at the Blue Jays.
They have a whole nation behind them. I was very surprised by this.
Dude, and given the fact that going into the season, there was a lot of buzz around them last year.
Yeah.
So that's
top 5 profits from last year. Number 1, you know who number 1 is?
I do not.
Seattle Mariners, $83.8 million they made pocket.
Oh, good for them.
San Francisco Giants, $74.9 million. The Red Sox, $71.6 million. The Orioles, $64.7 million. And the Oakland Athletics made $62.2 million last year.
How much do they pay out in fucking salaries, though?
We just discussed that what an atrocity of a fucking franchise they are. They disgust me.
Dude, anybody that sits there and insists that analytics and Moneyball is the way to go needs to look at that team and understand it's not for fucking wins. It's for profit, and that's it. Hey, we're going to do it for the lowest denomination of money and value that we could give to the player to get the biggest return. Essentially, they're running a Chinese sweatshop, a child running sweatshop. That's what they're doing.
That's 100% true. That's what they're doing ultimately. MLB's got to do something about them. They can't exist making more money than some of the better franchises in the league and paying players peanuts and drawing no fans. They got fans screwing each other in the upper deck because they'd rather do that than watch their baseball team play. I can't blame them. I really can't. Like, the tickets are probably dirt cheap. You're not getting much of a product on the field. It's pathetic. It really is. And honestly, there needs to be some sort of sanction. Like, the NFL right now is trying to make the Redskins sell their Dan Snyder sell the Redskins. Oops. Sorry. Quick. Somebody censor me. I didn't mean to say that word. That was an accident. The Commanders. Why can't MLB make whomever it is that owns the Oakland Athletics sell their franchise? They honestly don't deserve it at this point. And you know what's so funny is, did you ever notice that the Oakland Athletics wear they have an elephant as their logo?
No.
Like on their sleeve, they have like an elephant standing on a baseball.
Honestly, not that like. If you asked me what their logo would be, I'm sure if I saw it, I'd be like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, so
I would be able to recall what it is, though.
so they have like a fuzzy guy that walks around, and his name is Stomper, and he's an elephant. You know,
Okay.
I'll share with you what their mascot looks like. But that's the Oakland Athletics mascot. He walks around like that. I'm sure if I showed you a jersey, you'd see the image of like this on their spring training cap. They have this on their sleeve.
Okay, that looks familiar.
Yeah. So I always wondered, I was like, what the hell is that about? Like, they're called the Athletics and they have an elephant as their logo. So
Right.
apparently when they were the Philadelphia Athletics, for those of you who don't know, the Oakland Athletics were at one point the Kansas City Athletics, and prior to that, they were the Philadelphia Athletics. Somebody called their franchise a white elephant. And if you don't know what that is, a white elephant is basically something that causes an exorbitant amount of money but makes no money for you. And I think it's ironic to see that they are top 5 in making money, even though they are the worst product on the world.
Yeah.
I think that's hilarious. So I just thought that was kind of appropriate that those jabrones their logo is literally a white elephant, which is supposed to be the exact opposite of what they're doing, where you cost money and don't make any money, but they're doing the exact opposite. Ooh. Okay, that was bad.
What happened?
He's hurt, not hurt. Heedle just took a skate to the face, but he looks like he's all right. Thank God. Sorry, folks. Sorry. Wrong wedding. I do think that there is a problem with Major League Baseball, and some of these franchises do need to be reprimanded and forced. Like, just real quick for the Yankees, people go, oh, but they didn't make the most money. You're absolutely correct. But if you want to go by what we're used to as a Yankee fan, what you're used to is you were used to George Steinbrenner. Back in 2010, the Yankees payroll was roughly 10% of the overall value of the franchise. Back in 2010, the franchise was arguably worth about $1.2 billion. And the payroll was about $150 million. So 10% of the overall value of the team belonged to the players, right?
Right.
In 2023, we're talking the overall payroll is what, 250 million, give or take a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. And the franchise is worth $7.1 billion. So where's the money going? Yeah. Like, where is the money going? If the franchise is now worth $7.1 billion, if you're keeping up with inflation, right? Shouldn't the payroll be $700 million right now?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it was 10% 13 years ago, and now it's 5% or less. It's a little bit less than 5%.
I would love to know what their operating costs are every year.
It doesn't make a difference, though. It's relative, isn't it? Everybody's payroll goes up together.
It is relative, and I agree with you, but I would just love to know where, because the Yankees have to. The fact that they're worth that much money and they're not at the top of the profit list, it's just waste and shit spending, because you can't say it's the payroll because it's not the payroll.
Right.
They can literally just about buy half the league.
Yeah.
If you disbanded the Yankees, Hal Steinbrenner can own half the league.
Yeah.
If not more.
So, but yeah, I would love to see where that money's going. And then Stevie Cohen, again, talk about white elephants, threw a shit ton of money at the Mets and cost him $138.5 million to do that. And I think we all kind of saw that coming.
Dude, I don't care what Met fans say, and it's not a dig because I'm a Yankee fan or being biased. You're living in a dream world when you think that you're not second fiddle to the Yankees. You are. And guess what happens when you're in New York City? all the main advertising money is going to flock to be with the New York Yankees. You are picking up the pieces left behind. So to come out and try to be like the Dodgers and the Yankees, or at least the Yankees under George Steinbrenner, and spend all this money while it's great and entertaining, you can't do it knowing that you're second fiddle. The Dodgers are not second fiddle. You know what I mean? And they're able to do it.
So we got a new feature, folks. We have a time limit we're sticking to. You hear that means we're moving on. Moving on with the whole hoopla. Really, it was international hoopla with regard to the World Baseball Classic. Connor McDavid, who we really don't hear from too often, sounded a little jealous talking about the World Baseball Classic, saying that that's something that they've wanted in hockey. They've been missing for the last 10 years, watching the best versus the best, and that Trout versus Ohtani. The whole world was watching. I guess he was watching included. The thing that I found to be most surprising about that interview is I did not realize Connor McDavid was that skinny.
Oh, yeah, he's a tiny dude.
Yeah.
It's a ridiculous comment, though, because you have the fucking Olympics.
I guess his position is that they're not sending the best that they have to the Olympics because it's in the middle of the season.
Blame the league, blame your players association.
Oh, but he is. I guess they used to have the World Cup of hockey, and now they don't.
Well, yeah. Well, now it's generally the junior. You got the Junior World Cup,
right? So that's what he's clamoring for. He wants the World Cup of hockey.
Okay, so fork over a couple $1 billion and start it.
I don't think it costs that much.
I think to run an international league,
every team's going to buy in by their country anyway. It's part of Olympic funds.
I understand.
Like Team USA Baseball is the same franchise run through the Olympics, through the World Baseball. It's the same organization. It's Team USA Baseball.
I get it, but why would that Olympic committee be like, yeah, let's spend money on this too? When it's like, no, we have the Olympics every 4 fucking years.
I don't know. I don't know, but Connor McDavid being the face of hockey right now, you got to kind of stand up and listen a little bit.
It's not that I'm trying to rag on him, because more hockey is always a good thing. And if they created it and did it right, of course I'd watch. Even if they did it wrong, I'd watch. If they decided to make a fucking pond hockey league where it was 3-on-3 with these studs of athletes going out there and playing against each other on a frozen pond in Manitoba, I'm going to watch. But it's just...
That was a movie.
What was?
What you just described was a movie. The New York Rangers went and played the Eskimos out there in Mystery, Alaska.
Come on.
Pond hockey.
That's a stretch from pond hockey.
I mean, it was until the Rangers put the boards up.
The problem is when it's in Alaska, there's no risk of falling through the ice. Like pond hockey, as far as being in the Northeast, is like, maybe send out the skinny kid first. Yeah,
well, hold on though. Well, Manitoba is might as well be as cold as Alaska, dude.
Just about, but not as.
You said Manitoba. Anyway, we're not getting on tangents tonight. Stick with the thought.
Don't make me start naming cities in fucking Maine and Michigan.
But yeah, so I mean, I wouldn't mind watching it if we could figure out a way to bring back the World Cup of hockey, because there was one, and now there isn't.
Just generate, dude. There has to be something to gain. There has to be a profit.
And you know what? He might have just done it by just talking about it. Another thing interesting Connor McDavid did, I don't know if you caught that, Arizona Coyotes took a shot passing by the goalie, hit the goalie in the back of the head, scored a goal. Pretty impressive from the face, McJesus, as they call him.
Yeah, a little bit.
I've never seen that before. He like shoot it off the back of the goalie's head.
I've seen it off the back of the ass and the back and the legs.
He hit him on the back of his head.
Yeah, that's a new one.
Listen,
aim small, miss small. You're in the Army. You know the deal.
I don't. Yeah, no. So the Rangers back-to-back shutouts over the weekend from Igor Shesterkin and Halak, Yaroslav Halak over the weekend. I was at the game on Sunday.
Yes, you
the
were.
streak still lives. The game was over in the first period. I've never been to a Rangers game in person. I've never physically seen the New York Rangers lose with my own 2 eyes. Never. And I know what you're all thinking. You're like, oh, it's a jinx. Why would you bring that up? Listen, I don't believe in it at this point. It's been years. How many games do I go to a year? At least 3 or 4.
At least you wouldn't have said this before we go to the game.
I'm not worried about it, dude.
I am.
We're going to the game on Tuesday. The only reason we would possibly lose on Tuesday would be because of Anthony, because he roots against the Rangers.
That's fair.
That's the only reason that we would lose on Tuesday, because of his bad juju. Other than that, we're going to win on Tuesday. I feel it in this area.
Did you say Juju because he happens to be?
No, I didn't. But that's
okay.
No, I didn't. So the Rangers, big plays. Great game for Keandre Miller. On first time a defenseman scored 4 goals in a period in the history of the Rangers. He was the first star. Mika Zibanejad continues with Mad Mika March. I think they call it Mad March Mika or something like that. Yeah. Mika March Madness might be
what does he have right now? 38 goals?
I am not sure off the top of my head. I'm not a numbers person. I do know that he was the number 1 star for the month of March already, which I think is weird. We got a couple of days left, but they already named the 3 stars for the month, and he was number 1. So good for Mika Zibanejad. Good for the New York Rangers.
He's 37 goals, 40 assists.
Nice.
Listen, in 71 games played, so essentially a fucking goal every other game. How do you beat that?
That's great. In other news, Alexander Ovechkin is now 73 goals away from breaking Wayne Gretzky's all-time goal scorer record. Yeah. Now his points record will never be touched, but I think
his assists and points will never, ever, ever, never be touched. It'll never happen. Nobody is that selfless.
Gretzky. They call him Mick Jesus, but really, we already know who the original Lamb of God was coming down and saving hockey. And he's even given a little credence to McDavid by showing up in commercials.
Yeah, I saw that.
But good for Ovechkin. I mean, he's had a good career. I think for the most part, he played the game the right way.
You got to figure it's going to be at least 3 seasons before he can crack that.
And that's what I was thinking.
Just the chances of him having another 50-goal year in his career, while I'm not saying he can't do it, I think best case scenario, a 40 and 30-something goal season back-to-back, sure. In all reality, I would say he would have to stay in the league at least 3 seasons to get it. I think he stays 3 more seasons, he gets it 100%. I think if you gun to my head, if he only had 2 seasons to do it, I would say like 70% chance he does it in 2.
Yeah.
Just because I think they would just be feeding him if he's like 10 goals short in that, at the halfway point of the second season, they're just feeding him nonstop.
Absolutely. But good for him. I don't think anybody really expected him to. I don't think anybody expected anyone to get that far. You know what though? I gotta be on. I hate to be that guy, but I'm gonna be that guy right now. They did make changes to the game to kind of increase scoring.
Listen, they made the pads smaller. They essentially made that trapezoid. The goalie is less involved. The goalie doesn't come out of the net. The goalie stays, kind of in place. So he's stuck there. Just everybody's faster. The passing's faster. The shooting's faster. I know Steve Valiquette. Every time he breaks down for the Rangers, you make one cross ice pass, and your chance of scoring goes up to 60%.
There's less hits now.
A lot less nastiness.
There's a lot. There we go. Less nastiness. That's what I'll say. There's still contact. A lot less nasty.
You're not afraid. You're not afraid to be aggressive with the puck. You're not afraid that if you lose sight of the ice and look down at the puck to, toe drag or something like that somebody's going to murder you. Unless you're playing against Trouba, then you're probably going to get murdered. Sorry, Kadri. But I also think that the one thing that is going on as far as Ovechkin in his career, I think he takes more shots than anybody else in the last 15 years in the league. Dude, he rips like I think he probably averages about 12 shots on goal a game. That's like insane. Insane.
For one guy, yeah, especially when a team only puts up at most 30-something shots on goal.
40 shots on goal, right?
Yeah. I mean, I was at the game on Sunday, and there was like between the two teams, there might have been 56 to 60 shots on goal between the two teams.
Yeah.
I remember looking up, going, "How many shots on goal were there?" And they were like 21. I'm like, "Okay, it's the third period already. What are they waiting on?"
Yeah, dude. I remember watching, especially years ago when Ovechkin was, in the real thick of his prime. Just every time they had a power play against the Rangers, he'd get like 6 shots on goal in 1 2 minute span of a power play. Like easy. Because it was
Well,
just all right, pass, point, rip it.
sometimes you score on quality over quantity. Sometimes quantity fucking wins. Throw enough shots at the net, they'll get in at some point.
Absolutely.
One of my biggest gripes with the Rangers is a lot of times you sit there and they're looking for the perfect fucking shot.
The finesse, the finesse
look
around
at
the
your
power
face.
play is just ridiculous.
Said it all. I said that, and you gave, what was the look? Was it Brooks Koepka that gave the look to fucking Bryson DeChambeau or vice versa?
Yeah, it was Brooks.
That's what you just did.
Dude,
moving on.
it's true though.
Yeah, it absolutely is. But moving on, Fanatics just cut a deal with the NHL to be the official merchandiser for all on ice equipment for the next 10 years starting next season. So no more Adidas jerseys. Now your stuff's coming from Fanatics. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's a shit company. It's called like it is. Dude, the balls they're gonna have to try to upcharge and be like, oh yeah, authentic jersey, $260. It's like, dude, I wouldn't give you $40. I'd rather get the Chinese knockoffs. I don't give a shit. I'm not ashamed to wear it. It looks the same. My beer stains the shit out of it just the same.
It's probably better, actually.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, God. Can't we go back to what's it called?
Champion?
Not Champion, before them.
Reebok? Oh, before them. Wow.
Before. Yeah.
I don't even know.
Oh,
Easton?
shit. Not Easton.
I don't even remember who made the jerseys. I'm pretty sure Champion made jerseys one year, didn't they? Like in the 90s, didn't Champion make the jerseys? But yeah, I hate the move. They are saying that, we're going to use the same factory as Adidas. Well, guess what? Just because you're using the same factory doesn't mean you're using the same quality material. It doesn't mean that the design is the same cut. You just have the same machines sewing shit together. It doesn't mean that anything else is of any type of quality or want. And a lot of people sat there and I saw some people saying, oh, well, you never know. They might do something. Listen, this company's not known for being any type of quality whatsoever. I've got plenty of Fanatics t-shirts and hats. They feel cheap. It was bad enough for me, at least, because I'm a hat person. You guys always see me on the show. I always have a hat on because I have a shiny head. And if I didn't have my hat on, you would just see shine on my skull for the entire broadcast. But point being is that I just didn't, I didn't like the fact that the NHL didn't have new era hats. Drove me crazy. I'm a fitted guy. I don't like snapbacks. Snapbacks to me is like what you wear when you can't afford a fitted. Like that's you get it on hat day. You get a snapback.
The brand that I was thinking about was Starter. Starter jerseys.
I said Champion made jerseys. No, Starter made jerseys.
Starter made the jerseys, and then between 2000 and 2007, it was Coho and CCM and Jaffa made subsidiary sweaters, like the third.
Oh, I remember the CCM ones, and then Reebok,
ones, right? And then after 07, it was Reebok,
and then now Adidas.
Yes,
Adidas I didn't mind the Reebok.
2017 to next year.
Starter. Hey, goal scored, New York Rangers. Tie game right here against Carolina.
Dude, speaking about Carolina, man, to get third perioded by them at that game, man, the way we carried ourselves to the first and second period, that shit will always irk me because the Rangers seem to be prone to it. Getting third period where it just you don't see it coming, bro. 3 goals by them.
Yeah. But yeah, Fanatics, the thing that kills me about the Fanatics deal is for a decade. So for 10 years, you're going to have shit jerseys. For 10 years. Like if you just said, all right, we're going to do it's a short deal, 3 years. Okay. All right. I can deal with that. 3 years. But right now I'm about to go get me a custom jersey made by Adidas just so that I can have a solid custom, because my custom Reebok one, I'm getting too fat for in my old age. I might even order a custom fucking Avery jersey from Adidas. Just because my Reebok one I'm too fat for as well. That's a fucking medium. Am I a medium? Fuck no.
Dude, you got to try to stop pulling off a schmedium. Sweaters are supposed to be nice and loose.
I know.
Some shoulder pads underneath them.
When was the last time you saw me wear my Avery?
It's been a bit.
because it's a medium. Like I have it. It's in the closet. I'll pull it out right now. Pause. But I can't wear it because I'm fat. You'll see my veins through my fucking shirt. But like, obviously, I got a little space in this bad boy. Wearing the Kako tonight.
That's not fat, my man. That's weathered. That's aged appropriately.
Yeah.
I mean, we all can't be fucking stick figures anymore.
Nice little change we've got going on. What's our new segment called, T? Help me out with this.
Oh, what we're going to do? I don't know. We're playing around with ideas, but essentially it's just going to be
How about if they were real?
That's fair.
All right, if they were real. So what we're doing, folks, is
working title.
We're gonna pick. We're doing hockey today, so we're gonna pick 5 fictional players and a goalie, or not necessarily the players, because I think we talked about that. I was like, hey, can I just make Ivan Drago a defenseman because he's a big goon, and if he got into a fight, I'm fairly certain he'd win.
Right.
So
what we're doing is we're picking this week. We're going to draft a hockey team. Your 5 starting line and a goalie based on iconic action movie characters from 80s, 90s up till today.
And they have to be fictional. No picking anybody from fucking Miracle.
Correct.
All right. Because if that's the case, I'd pick the goalie from the Russian team. But you know what, sir? This was your idea, and I'll let you go first.
Wow, let me go first. So I'm gonna have to start off at center. I am picking the Terminator. I mean, wow. He's cybernetic. He has that fucking targeting system in his head. I think you put the puck on his stick, he's scoring from anywhere in the fucking arena.
See, I like that pick, but I'm going to go with oh, that's tough. Wow, that was pretty good. Put
that one out. We should be writing these down, by the way, because we're going to have to post to see I
actually
pen and paper on you?
I'm writing it down right now, actually.
Okay.
I'm going to go with that. We're not relegated just to movies. We can do TV.
Yeah, fuck it. Why not?
I'm going to go with Jamie Tart as my center from Ted Lasso because he learned how to do the last pass. So now he's not just a scorer. He can last pass right there, get the assist a la Gretzky.
Fair. So I feel the need to have to do this, and I understand people are going to get mad at me because it's going to be like, picking your kicker in like the second round of a draft. But I'm picking a goalie right now. Okay. Wow. And I am going with John Wick. Why am I going with John Wick? Okay. Other than the fact that he's just an assassin and can murder everybody on the ice if he wanted to. It's the fact that Keanu Reeves did play a goalie in a hockey movie.
Oh, shit. You're right.
Can you name that movie?
I cannot name that movie.
Come on.
Young Blood.
Yeah.
Oh. Wow. How did it just hit me? It hit me like a fucking rock. Like I was sitting here like, I don't fucking know. Oh, shit. I do know.
Dude, so I'm hoping John Wick can channel the guy playing him who played a goalie once in his career.
So, you know what? You picked a goalie. I'm going to pick a goalie too. And I'm sorry, but you were right on Keanu Reeves. You were wrong on the character. I'm going to go with Neo from The Matrix because I've seen him put his hand up and stop bullets. Fairly certain he could stop a puck.
Nice. Very nice.
So Neo from The Matrix is my goalie.
Very nice. Ooh. Okay. Now we're getting to the thick of things. I gotta go defense right now. And when I think of defense, I think of somebody that's intimidating. I think of somebody that's like a grizzled vet. I have to go John McClane. John McClane back there on defense.
There's a lot. You know what? There's a lot of grit in that. I really, really like that pick.
Dude, just ripping cigarettes and yippee-ki-yay and motherfuckers on the ice.
Wow.
Yeah. You do not want to go into a corner with John McClane.
You got a great point there. I'm gonna go defense as well. I'm gonna go John Barenthal as the Punisher.
Wow, nice.
Little Frank Castle action for the very same reason you picked John McClane.
Wow. Very nice. Very nice.
Anybody who breaks his own nose, puts it back, and just keeps going, that's my defenseman right there.
Wow, we're just trading jabs. Shit. See, now I feel like I feel like on the other side of my defense, I have to contend with the Punisher. So I think I have no other choice but to go with Sylvester Stallone as Rambo. Just playing the line, a man on a mission, okay?
John Rambo.
And you definitely do not want to draw first blood against him.
You know, you pick John Rambo. I'm gonna go and pick John Bender from Breakfast Club. He's got a little dirt to him, but he can finesse. He's got a little dirt, but he can finesse.
Oh shit!
I could see him just putting a dirty hit on somebody and not getting caught, and then somebody comes over and goes to, you know, obviously it's always the second guy that gets caught, right? Next thing you know, we're on power play.
Wow. All right, we're kind of getting into the shit right now. I'm searching. I had a couple people picked out, but like
we got two wingers left, right?
Yeah, we got left wing and right wing. Oh man. Yeah. You know what? I don't give a shit. Since we're putting this up on for voting, and the guy is timeless, and there's nothing that he can't do. And I feel like as far as back checking and forechecking, there's nothing he can't steal, especially a puck off of you. I'm going Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford.
Wow.
That's right. That's right.
Wow.
There's nothing he can't take from you, especially if it belongs in a museum.
What side?
Like Lord Stanley's Cup.
What side is he playing?
I'm gonna go left wing.
There you go. So I'm gonna go left wing, and I'm gonna pick you know what? I was gonna say Julius from Remember the Titans, but that's a real person. Oh, if only because left side is a strong side. But no, I'm not gonna pick him because he's a real person. We said no real people. So I'm gonna pick Daniel Jackson, played by Barry Pepper from Saving Private Ryan. He was the sniper because I could always use a good sniper playing on my wing.
Very good. Very good. Now I'm trying to think of somebody with a little speed. Ooh. You know, when I think of finesse, when I think of just natural talent, Daniel Craig is James Bond.
Wow. That's interesting.
Daniel Craig is James Bond. He's just going to come out and he's just going to finesse it in. He's just going to come at you with just that star power, just that studliness that is James Bond. He can be sophisticated, but he can murder you very quickly.
That's a good point. That was a beautiful, beautiful answer.
Thank you, sir.
Right wing. Who do I want to play my right wing? This is a tough one now. Now I'm like down to like the real nitty-gritty. Do I want a real hockey player? I don't think so. I don't think I want one. You know what? I don't have a showboater, and I'm gonna go with Apollo Creed. I need a guy that's got some balls, and he'll back it up. And I'm gonna go with Apollo Creed to play my right wing.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
And to be honest, it's good to have a forward that could throw a punch.
Forward that could throw a punch, a big dude. Listen, he could be like a Kreider just sitting in front of the net trying to deflect shit.
And he was fast.
You know what I mean? Fast and sports entertainment, baby. You want that showboater. You want somebody doing the Hulk Hogan to the crowd.
You got the Count of Montefisto, you know?
Dude, listen, and the man loved America. Rocked the red, white, and blue. Came out in a top hat with the Star-Spangled Banner on it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Nothing says America like Apollo Creed. But that was our first, if they were real, and those are our hockey teams, and they look kind of interesting and kind of fun at the same time. We'll post those later on the Twitters and the interwebs.
Real quick, why don't you recap, Nick?
We got TJ's team at center, the Terminator. The original Terminator, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Correct.
At left wing, Indiana Jones. At right wing, James Bond. Defenseman 1, John McClane. Defenseman 2, John Rambo. And in the net, we've got John Wick. Oh, John's on your
A
team.
lot of Johns on the team.
On my team, at my center, I've got Jamie Tart from Ted Lasso. I've got Sergeant Daniel Jackson from Saving Private Ryan on my left wing. My right wing is Apollo Creed. Defenseman 1 is Frank Castle. Defenseman 2 is John Bender. And in the net, I've got Neo from The Matrix, who can stop anything. We've got little Steven coming out. Center, John Wick. Left wing, Buffalo Bill. Right wing, Anton Chigurh. I don't even know who that is. Who is that? Who's that? Wow. Right defenseman, Jack Reacher. Good call. Alan Richmond or Richson. Jack. Great call. He's a fighter. Left defenseman, the Predator. And the goalie, Spider-Man.
See, I don't know. I was thinking action stars and comic movies are different. I was thinking comic movies have to be used as separate. Because, I mean, that's the reason why we all could have said fucking Superman and Wonder Woman.
Superman, yeah.
Right.
Like Anton Chigurh is from No Country for Old Men. I imagine that it was this guy from James Bond's character.
What's his name?
I can't remember his name right now. He's Spanish.
Yes.
Barda, something Barda. Something Barda or Bard.
Javier Bardem.
There you go. But that brings us to the end of this segment. We're moving on to the NFL. Crazy week for the New York Jets. If you're a New York Jets fan, it's been a wild ride this week. We're still in an Aaron Rodgers standoff. We still got Aaron Rodgers sitting out there waiting in the wings, and we're waiting on basically the teams to come to a decision about what we need to do to get the deal done. Get a fucking deal done, right?
Well, my question is, do you think at this point Aaron Rodgers has essentially told the Jets, like, yo, I'm coming there or I'm not playing? That the Jets are sitting here staking their season on getting Aaron Rodgers?
No, I think that he told the Jets, I'm playing there or I'm going to fuck the Packers hard. That's what he told them.
Listen, we talked about this last week, that the ball is 100% in the Jets' court. It's all in the Jets' favor, and it's essentially how much Green Bay is going to just bite the bullet, because dude, it's not happening for your team, and the longer you wait, the more of a distraction he's going to be, and the more you're just going to piss everybody else off in the process.
Yeah, honestly, one of the former execs for the Eagles said it best. He goes, the balls, the Jets have the leverage, because the truth of the matter is that the Jets want to make a deal. The Packers need to make a deal. Monetarily speaking, they cannot afford to keep this man. That's what it comes down to. So, I mean, that's what's going on with him. Elijah Moore was traded yesterday to the Cleveland Browns, along with a third-round pick for a second-round pick, number 42 overall. Which, I'm sorry, for me, I couldn't care less. I'm a New York Jets fan. I'm not a fan of any player. That player, during a win streak, decided that he didn't want to be a part of the team anymore. And people will say, well, look at the quarterback situation. It doesn't fucking matter when you're winning. I couldn't give a shit less who is on my team when we're winning. When you're causing us to lose, then I care who's on my team. But if we win because Breece Hall runs the ball, I couldn't give a shit less who the quarterback is.
If you want to break it down as talent level, what the Jets gave up, yeah, I think we gave up a little more than we got back. But when you factor in the distraction and the bullshit that comes with Elijah Moore and the fact that he does not want to be here, then see you later. The Jets are a young team, and the last thing you need is somebody pretty much going from a tumor into a full-blown cancer and ravaging the team from the inside. We do not need that whatsoever. The same reason we really don't want Odell Beckham Jr. on this team. While I agree that for the amount of money that we could probably give him, for him to come here and be another receiver is worth a shot in the dark. Him being the type of person that he is, and this team being very young and very susceptible to they're still figuring out how to be NFL superstars. At least half the team right now. You really don't want to introduce that kind of self-centered selfishness in the locker room. You don't. So the better you can make this team by being a team and cohesive, I think you're a much better team moving forward, offensively and defensively.
it's twofold though. Like I'll tell you this, and I've always said it. You can be a distraction and be good. You can be quiet and be bad. You can't be a distraction and be bad, and that's what Elijah Moore was last year. And it's bled into this season because now we've got players like Michael Carter II, or excuse me, not Mike. I take it back. I'm sorry, apologize, mea culpa. Not Michael Carter II. We got players like Michael Carter and Mekhi Becton defending Elijah Moore. Now, I understand that players are friends. I get it. All right. But you still play for the Jets. And if you don't want to play for the Jets, if you're sitting there going, because Michael Carter came out and said, like, there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that you guys don't know about. And frankly, it's none of your business. But you guys are condemning my friend. First of all, shut your fucking mouth. It is our business because you just brought it up. So now it is our business. Now we can talk about it now. You said something and let's talk about it. There's a lot going on that we don't know about. That's what you're saying. How come you didn't demand a trade? How come you didn't demand a trade? If you're saying you don't know what was going on and therefore justifying what Elijah Moore did, then you're saying that he was right. That's what you're saying. It would be like if somebody murdered somebody tomorrow and we caught them gun in hand, they did the murdering, and somebody goes, but you don't understand what happened. So you're defending them off their bat. So you're telling them they had a leg to stand on. That's what you're saying. Like, listen, don't condemn them just yet. They had their reasons, and I find those reasons to be righteous. That's what you're saying. And quite frankly, if Michael Carter and Mekhi Becton don't want to be on the Jets because they feel that Elijah Moore was right, then we can trade them to the fucking Cardinals. We can trade them to a fucking other bum team in the fucking NFL, and they'll be losers too because the Jets are doing something right now. Like, I understand being friends, and Justin Hardy said it best. I'm going to miss my boy, and I'm sure he's going to do great things. It's a crazy business that we work in. That's fine. That's supporting your friend publicly and still saying, like, this is a business and we got work to do. When you come out and say stupid things like, oh, you don't know what was going on behind closed doors and it's none of your business, you're not endearing yourself to the fan base. We are Jets fans. We're not Michael Carter fans. And quite frankly, later in the day, I don't know if you saw this, a lot of chatter about Ezekiel Elliott possibly joining the Jets.
No, I didn't see that.
Apparently, yep, that was the conversation. Breece Hall, that Ezekiel Elliott came out and said that he's considering the Jets, the Eagles, and the Bengals. And Breece Hall tweets, "We're good over here. We don't need nobody in this room. Am I right, Michael Carter?" And he goes, "We're good over here. We don't need nobody." Sounds like two guys that are afraid to lose their jobs. Doesn't sound very confident.
I agree.
Doesn't sound very confident. Like, these kids need to learn to put the Twitter down. Put the fucking Twitter down. You don't need to make every thought a public thought because now we thought you were stupid before. We know you're stupid now.
You know what, though? Being young and nervous, I get it. It's the generation. It's you go take out your frustration. And guess what? Like, you just gave an insight to everybody else that you're a little insecure in your ability to retain that spot in your position. So I understand it. I get it. But I guess that's the separation between a fan base and a player. The player's there to make money, and the player's there to, that's his job and support himself and make as much money as he can in that position. And the fan is there to say, hey, dude, if we can get somebody that can do it better, thanks for your service, but bye.
Listen, when Michael Carter had a bad season last year, he had a bad year, period. There's no conversation to defend it. He had a bad year. And guess what? I would be afraid of losing my job. You know what? That fear is kind of good. You don't get rest on your laurels. You work a little harder. You run a little faster. You get a little sick to your stomach when you think about it because now you're like, I might lose my job today. Let me go out there and leave it all on the field so that nobody can take my shit from me. All right? That's how great players play. They don't rest on their laurels, and they're not afraid of competition. They welcome the competition because they're confident that they will win. But I'm sorry, I cannot excuse them defending a guy that was basically said, fuck this team. Because if it was so bad and you're justifying what this man is saying, then why didn't you ask for a trade? Why are you as a teammate not offended that you can suck it up and he can't? Because he was the weak link. Nobody else asked for a trade. Not at that point in the season when we're winning for 5. We're up 5-2. When was the last time we went 5-2 to start a season, T? 10 years ago? It's been a long time. So this fan base is starved for wins. And I remember sitting there watching some of the beat reporters going, sounds like Elijah Moore may ask for a trade. Sounds like this. And I'm going, fuck these guys. They're sitting here stirring up crap because that's what the reporters do.
That's all they do.
Out, it's fucking true. It's true. I didn't want to believe it because things were going so good. But no, we're Jets fans. We can't have nice things. We have to have some asshole like Elijah Moore when we're finally fucking winning, complaining about why he's not getting the fucking ball. It's because you're not that good, dude. You're not. That's why we had to give away a third with you in order to get a second, because you're not that good. And apparently the Browns don't think so either. But congratulations. You've got a better quarterback now in Deshaun Watson. I just want to point out, Garrett Wilson was in the same fucking receiver room that you were in. 1,000 yards receiving for the season. What's your excuse? Oh, our quarterback was bad. Not good. You mean the quarterback wasn't good enough to make up for your deficiencies? Because Garrett Wilson didn't have any fucking problems.
Didn't seem like it.
He just didn't. So goodbye, Elijah Moore. I will not miss you, dude. And I just want to say the last guy we punted out of town who was talking a lot of, he sounded really good at the time. And Elijah Moore did too. They sounded really good at the time. The last guy we punted out of town, guess what? His career has gone downhill. He got paid a lot of money just now by the Seahawks.
Who's that, Jamal Adams?
Downhill. Jamal Adams. Adios. Elijah Moore. Adios. Michael Carter, if you think that Elijah Moore was right, you can fucking go too. You're the backup's backup at this point. If we get Zeke, you're the backup's backup.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see Ty Johnson and Bam Knight running out there before you. You're on your way to fucking Green Bay.
Listen, if you got time to run your mouth, if you got time to make excuses, you got time to practice and get fucking better.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it anymore.
Yeah. It's just a little ridiculous. Keep it internalized. You don't have to sit there and say every thought. By the way, Breece Hall and Michael Carter both deleted their tweets basically shitting on Zeke Elliott coming to the Jets. Now, again, I'm not a big proponent of a 27-year-old back who's been cut from his previous team coming to the Jets. I am not. I liked Michael Carter, what I've seen today between him standing up for Elijah Moore, who I think is a piece of shit. Him saying, I don't want this free agent because I'm afraid that I'm going to lose my job. And then on top of that, he went and just blocked every single Jets fan that said anything about Zeke Elliott or said, like, dude, you shouldn't be saying this right now. He blocked every single one of them. Sounds like he's very weak.
I agree.
It reminds me of draft day with Kevin Costner, where he tells Chadwick Boseman's character, don't tweet. GMs hate it. And you just let every GM in the world that you say everything that's on the top of your mind. And we don't like that crap. On a bright note, Jets' entire front office has been very quiet, like internalized.
Yeah. I was going to say, you really don't hear anything coming from them. I don't want Zeke Elliott. I think he's done. I don't want to go down that road.
And he had a great year for us.
Listen, I don't want to go down that road, but at the same time, I don't think anybody on the team should be saying that. As a fan, I could say, like, I hope they do this and I hope they do that, because guess what? My opinions have no bearing on the team or how games go. But when you're a part of the team
or the
and
locker
you run
room
your mouth on Twitter, you're going to affect the locker room and you're going to affect the games.
What happens tomorrow if they sign Zeke Elliott? And now Zeke Elliott walks up to fucking Breece Hall, because at that point, Michael Carter's traded to the Packers. And he goes, so you didn't want me here, huh?
Right.
You know, I mean, is that the first day that you want to have with your new teammate? I didn't want you. I didn't want you. And it's in writing. You can't even hide it. And they deleted the tweets. And that just makes it worse. Honestly.
The internet's forever.
They should have kept their mouths. They should have kept their mouths shut. The old adage, if you got nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. These kids need to learn when to tweet and when not to tweet. You know, when you tweet, when you have a charity event coming up, tweet.
Dude, that's like, tell me it's not like Parks and Rec, where that cult is like, oh yeah, the world's going to end on this date. And then the date comes and goes like, oh, we read it wrong. It's next month. And they just keep doing it. And dude, it's, what do you think is going to happen when you put shit out there? Dude, I don't know if you saw it. I know you're not into the political game on Twitter as much as I am, because I like to troll people and laugh. But apparently about 5 years ago, Greta Thunberg posted a thing saying that we're going to have a huge economic disaster within the next 5 years. And like greenhouse gases are going to run wild and everything's going to be dead. And the ocean is going to rise 10 feet or whatever the fuck she was saying. And then she deleted it this year because I guess we hit the 5-year mark and she was wrong. Kind of like how Al Gore put out An Inconvenient Truth, and then 20 years later had to put out An Inconvenient Truth 2. Like, that shit's forever. You can't make bold predictions, and then when they don't come true, you'd be like, no, I wasn't wrong. My calculations were off. It's like saying, like, oh, yo, if I jump off this bridge, I can totally survive. It's like, no, you can't, dude. We're 400 feet up. It's like, no, I totally can. And then you die, and you're sitting there in heaven like, I wasn't wrong. The tide was out.
But to close out Jets news, it seems like OBJ is kind of destined to join the New York Jets. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see them trade for DeAndre Hopkins. Honestly, if I had to put money down, if they're looking at Zeke Elliott, I would not be shocked to see them trade somebody like Michael Carter, maybe Denzel Mims or Corey Davis, and probably a second and a third draft pick to the Packers to close out this Aaron Rodgers deal. As it's been said many a time across the internet, the Packers need to get a deal done. The Jets want to get a deal done. Is it beneficial for the Jets to go into next season with Zach Wilson? Absolutely not. Can they do it? Absolutely, they can. There'd be a lot of backlash, but they can physically do it. The Packers cannot go into next season with Aaron Rodgers on their team. It is bad across so many levels. The Jets will still sell out with Zach Wilson at quarterback. I promise they will.
And
Especially
the
with
one
those
good
surrounding
thing,
pieces.
the one good thing is it doesn't matter what's going on right now in the offseason, everybody clamoring to try to get Aaron Rodgers, because at the end of the day, Zach Wilson has to succeed for himself, or else he's going to be finding another job pretty damn fucking soon. He cannot be spiteful. He can't be like, oh, you didn't want me, now it's okay that I'm here. And no, it's like, holy fuck, I better win.
And you know what? Zach Wilson's done the right thing this entire offseason. You haven't heard a fucking word from him.
Not a word.
You haven't heard a word from him.
Because
he'll have a job next
I
season.
think he's smart enough to know that just if Aaron Rodgers walks in this fucking locker room, right? Zach Wilson's not going anywhere for the next 2 to 3 years. This is the perfect opportunity to learn from him and get better while still getting paid. It's not a failure yet. It's only a failure if he lets it be a fucking failure. And I think best scenario for him is if you have Aaron Rodgers to sit there and learn from.
Yeah, absolutely. But that ends this segment. I think that's all we got for this episode. One last thing before we go. Sad news for New York Knicks fans. Knicks have been on a bit of a tear, but very sad news this week. Former captain, two-time NBA champion Willis Reed passed away this week. And I don't know if you heard anything that Clyde Frazier had to say about the situation, but it was really, really heartbreaking to hear Mike Breen and Clyde Frazier talk about their departed friend. Obviously, Clyde knowing Willis since he's a rookie in the NBA, and Mike. Actually, it was really touching to me. Mike told Clyde, "Thank you." And I think if you're a Knicks fan or you listen to Knicks basketball at all, I think we all owe a little bit of debt of gratitude to Clyde Frazier, not only for his on-field play, but he kind of reminds me of like Bobby Mercer when we were kids.
Yeah,
he played for the Yankees. He won World Series for the Yankees. But for me, the voice of Yankee baseball as a kid involved Bobby an older generation. Phil Rizzuto was a voice of Yankee baseball. Bob Shepard is a voice of Yankee baseball. And even to this point, Michael Kay and Clyde Frazier is now a voice of NBA, like for the Knicks. He is the Knicks. To hear him and Mike Breen so sad over the passing of Willis Reed, former captain, two-time champion. The Knicks have only won 2 championships, and he helped bring them both to New York. Very sad to hear about his passing, and definitely an icon. We see his name in the rafters every time we go to MSG, right?
Yep.
I mean, anytime you lose a iconic player from your hometown, it's like, even if you don't, well, we're not big basketball fans, but we have a lot of respect for anybody that brings clout to New York City. We're New Yorkers, and anybody that wants to bring a banner to New York, even if it's the Mets or the Giants or whatever, you know what? You did the city right. And sad to hear about Willis Reed passing.
Yeah, it's been a rough couple of years for MSG, like the fan base, dude. You know what I mean? That's you had Rod Gilbert last year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we're losing people from the rafters, some icons that, you know, we all look up to as fans. So I mean, obviously above that, he's still a person, you know, a family member that's the important part, losing somebody like that. But I mean, as a fan base, as sports guys that we are, it's like, it kind of brings like reality home a little bit, where you get all bent out of shape for a Rangers loss or a Knicks loss or something like that, and then you realize these people that you looked up to and these people that like you like hearing stories about are like slowly all fading off, and it's, man, you bummed me out. We had a good show up until now.
Well, let's just throw out his highlights for his career. Two-time NBA champion, 70 and 73. Two-time NBA Finals MVP, NBA MVP 1970, seven-time NBA All-Star, All-Star Game MVP for 1970, NBA All-NBA First Team 1970, All-NBA Second Team 67 through 69, 1971. NBA All-Defensive First Team 1970, NBA Rookie of the Year 1965, NBA All-Rookie Team 1965, NBA Anniversary Team 50th and 75th. To me, that's a big deal. A lot of guys have gone through the NBA. To be on the All-Anniversary Team, what do? The top 100 players or something like that? Yeah. And not only did you make top 50, you made top 75. That's wild. Number 19, retired by the New York Knickerbockers, and he's in the basketball and college basketball Halls of Fame. Outstanding resume for Willis Reed. Gone but not forgotten. Always in the rafters, and we'll see you on Tuesday. Yeah, rest in peace. Just a quick note before we go, WrestleMania is coming up. Please pay attention to our boys over at the Wrestling Addicts. They will have a special WrestleMania show coming for you, talking WrestleMania trivia, talking WrestleMania memories, 3-day event, Hall of Fame, night 1, night 2. Pay attention to the Wrestling Addicts. They got some stuff to talk about. Unless you got something else, T, that's all I've got.
Oh, yeah, the cream rises to the top.
And here we are, special short show. We're the Scoreboard Addicts, and we'll catch you next week. Over and out.